Hello everyone and welcome to the Used Tech Hustle video. In this one we're going to be taking a look at another budget PC case. This time it's the 7 from CIT, and as always with my case reviews we're going to be reviewing it by actually building a PC inside it to see how it all works out. Now for anyone interested, the PC I'm going to be building is a 3rd gen i5 system with an MSI motherboard, Cooler Master PSU, SSD, hard drive, and the graphics card is going to be the 670 I recently reviewed, which to be fair is actually still quite a powerhouse. So I suppose without much further ado, I better get this cleared up, get this out of the box, and we'll see exactly what it's like. Okay, so that's this thing out of the box, and initial impressions, it's a lovely neat size, which I really do love. If you've watched any of my previous reviews, a lot of the cases have been quite petite, and I really do like the way they can squeeze a lot in. If only they could fit a full-size motherboard in there, I would actually consider popping my own systems in one of these. Now, as you can see on the front, that's probably the reason why it's called the 7. I'll just pop up a little picture of that from the advert so you can see what it should look like, which as you can see, I'm quite interested to see what the end result is like. Now, to give you an idea of size, it's pretty much like the mini Kallax I've reviewed before. If I just quickly pop a tape measure on there. There we go. We can see this comes in, just flip that over, around about 15 inches wide, 15 inches deep, about 16 inches tall, and well, width doesn't really matter, but yeah, it's just a very discreet little case. Now I am a little bit concerned at the moment just with that corner there. This all could just be cellophane that's on there. That could just be the effect of cellophane that's on there. Don't know if you can see that. So I think normally, although I'd reserve peeling that off, I will do that straight away, just in case I've got another damaged unit like that one there. But yeah, so far, tidy little case. Let's whip off the side and see what we're dealing with in there. Okay, that's the side off. I only peeled off one corner, the one I was worried about, and it looks like it's all fine. For your information, this is just an acrylic piece. There's no glass or anything. I personally prefer that as it's a little bit more hard wearing, but obviously the effect you get when it's all built is still the same. Just put that down there. Now looking inside the case, as you can see, we've got a nice build area. I am a little bit concerned about the lack of anywhere to tidy the cables. If I just quickly whip this thing to the side, you can see it's completely flat. There is no additional area there, so that might be a problem. However, we've got a PSU shroud which helps keep things tidy, and one thing I didn't cover earlier, if we just take a look at the top, we can see we've got the usual array of power buttons, USB, etc., as well as a little card reader as well, so pretty decent stuff. Should be quite useful. Now you may have guessed from this fan, this thing is RGB obviously. That should all light up as well, which I'm looking forward to seeing. One thing I have noticed, the fan itself simply uses a Molex connector, which yeah, it's not ideal, but at this price point I can't really complain too much. If I just whip this off here, looks like I'll need both hands. One moment. Okay, we've got the usual bag of goodies there. Looks like it includes a zip tie as well as the usual screws, etc. On the front, you'll see we've got space for what appears to be 320mm fans, which is quite useful. One thing that does pop up is airflow. Some of these cases may be a bit restricted, although I've never had a problem with them. This one has a decent grill on the side there, which should hopefully help pull air through. And yeah, we've got a nice gap at the bottom there also. So airflow I don't think will be too much of an issue, but again at this particular price point and for this aesthetic I don't think we're too bothered. The top here, we've got another area with a removable filter. That is for another couple of 120mm fans. Overall, first impressions, very promising I will say. It looks good, feels quite lightweight, but again at this price point that's to be expected. My only initial concern would be the cable tidying, which may be a problem, but hey, let's get creative and see what we can do. So I suppose next, the first thing we can do is get the motherboard in there and see how we get on. Yeah, let's get building. Okay, so I've got the motherboard in, as you can see. That was fairly uneventful, nice and roomy in there, everything latched up. More importantly, the holes for the power to the motherboard don't actually get covered by the motherboard in this particular case as well, which is quite useful. Yeah, so far so good. Although this is only the early stages, I think next I'm going to pop the power supply in, feed that around the back, and well, we can get an idea of exactly what we're dealing with in terms of space at the back for keeping things tidy. But so far, so good. Right, that's the side of the case off. It is quite thin there, but there is maybe a few millimetres to play with. I can try and feed some cables through. There's plenty of room for a power supply in there. However, what I have realised is it's not immediately apparent where and how to store any 3.5-inch drives. So that'll be something I will obviously have to try and figure out. There is no paperwork provided with this either, which I've maybe been spoiled by the last case review. If you didn't see the Zigpatex Scorpio, it's taken the mantle of my favourite budget case. But yeah, hopefully I can work that one out. I'm sure some of you at home are screaming that it's dead obvious, but hey, I do like to see paperwork, even if it's just for a complete noob. Speaking of that, one thing again in this favour is you'll see here the cables fully labelled, which may seem like a silly little thing. However, if you've never done this before, just having them labelled as what they will do is a boom, definitely. They're all neatly tucked in there as well, so there seems to be plenty of room for routing around. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So far, yeah, still looking pretty good, though we are light on components. I'll now add the power supply and keep going and see if I can come across any hurdles, and of course try and see if I can work out where the heck do I put the 3.5-inch drives. Things are going well still. I've got the power supply in, I've fed the power lead to the ATX power there, that's not a problem. I've noticed the actual hard drives mountings are in fact labelled on here. I don't know if you can see them there, so the 3.5-inch will go under there and the SSD will slot into one of these bays here, which I will now go and install and keep things going. But so far, not too bad at all. The motherboard connectors, the front panel connectors all went in dead easy as well, which is kind of unsurprising really. They were all nicely labelled. Although the cables are a bit messy there, I will pull them back through and tidy it all up a bit more later on in the build. But yeah, so far not bad at all. Right, we are nearly there. I've managed to get the graphics card in, obviously all powered up, etc, etc. I've fed the cables around as best I can. I'm just now going to get out my trusty bag of cable ties, you can see down there, and see if I can tidy up what's going on this horror show here. Let's have a look. You can see there's a bit of a mess. Hopefully I can squeeze everything in and make it look a bit neater. At the moment it is a bit higgledy-piggledy. I may even consider installing a fan in the front as well, which, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got plenty of spares, so I'll do that now. But so far, yeah, this case has been a complete joy to work with. I hope the end result when we turn it on looks as good as I hope it does, and also I can get this thing tidied up, because there really isn't a lot of room to work with back here, but let's see how we go. Okay, I managed to squeeze all the cables in. Very happy with what's going on in there. Hopefully, when I turn it on, it will work, but yeah. So far, I really do quite like this case. I just hope the end result looks as good as it did in the pictures, and hopefully this is going to be quite impressive. But I suppose without much further ado, I'll whip the cellophane off that, and we'll see what this puppy looks like. And well, hopefully it works. Okay guys, this is it. I've put the side back on. I do like how everything is blacked out. I'm wondering how well that'll come through when I turn everything on, if it works. But yeah, that was a really fun build. Very simple. Didn't come across any problems. As soon as I realised where the hard drives go, it was all quite self-explanatory, so that's just my stupidity there. Though, as I always say, some instructions wouldn't go amiss. Anyway, that's enough waffling. Let's hit the button. Oh, hang on. Have I turned the power supply on? Aha! Ooh! Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool. I really liked how that 7 lit up, actually. I'm a sucker for stupid things like that, but okay, yeah, memory change, good. Right, well that's not really part of the video, so let's concentrate on this. Yeah, wowzer, looks really smart. Let's have a look at the top here. I'm not really sure how to control stuff. Oh, and also I now realise now it's on, that is not in fact a memory card reader, that is just a hole. So there we are. Sorry for misinforming you. Let's see if it's like the old other button. Yeah, okay, so you hit the, what appears to be the reset button, which incidentally isn't wired up, so it's not like the Rainbow R6 where it, sorry, the R3 where it has a reset button wired up, although it uses the reset button to change the mode. But yeah, you keep hitting the reset button. Damn. Whoa. You know what, before I go any further, I'm going to turn the light off, see if I can get this room a bit darker so we can really see the effect, but wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I've made it as dark as I can in here. At the moment I'm just going through the modes, so we can see at the moment it's on kind of this mode which goes between all the different colours. Damn, this is so cool. Got various colour modes. And I think we're back to solid colour. So I say one press equals a change of colour. And yeah, I think this looks absolutely brilliant. I'm not quite sure if this is coming through on the camera as well, but this 7 here, the colour on it, from looking through the camera it looks a bit faded perhaps, but in real life it really pops. I can't really explain it very well, but it looks like really quite awesome, to be fair. I am very much blown away. And I think for something like this, where you're trying to essentially flip a load of old parts into a resaleable PC, that's really got the wow factor for a lot of people. I love how dark that window is when it's not on, and how you can see that coming through. Very, very impressive stuff. This is close to overtaking the Sigmatech Scorpio, to be honest. I'm really quite taken with how that looks. Let's just keep going again. Yeah, it does look really smart. It's a shame my camera's not really showing off this front 7 much, or at least it doesn't look as vibrant as it does in my eyes anyway, or if you're sat here, but yeah, I don't know if I can really sort of keep gushing this much about this, but I think that looks absolutely incredible. That's really, really smart. Really impressive stuff. So yeah, I suppose it's about time to wrap things up. What can I say? It looks fantastic if it kind of stays in focus. Very simple to build with, very nice to use. The end result looks amazing. For £27 I think I paid. I will leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. It's certainly one of the better cases I've used anyway. I'm not sure I'm willing to quite say at the moment whether it's better than the Scorpio that I used. I really love that case. But then again, having said that, considering this one includes the fan at the back and this RGB effect looks fantastic, I would maybe put it on par. They're both excellent, excellent cases and you simply cannot go wrong. Just a couple of things to note before I close up the video. The Molex connector on the back there, as I mentioned, is also something that's required here. Sorry, this requires additional power, but the front panel uses a SATA connection, so you can't kind of daisy chain them up. Just something incidental you may be interested in. Other than that, yeah, I think this is an absolutely outstanding case, and I hope my review is of some use to you, apart from all the gushing at the colours at the end, of course. Just before I let you go, guys, if you have enjoyed this and you want to see other case reviews, then do check out my other videos on this channel. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more like it and be kept up to date, then subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you've got something to say on this, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and if you really want to help me out, drop a like. I'd absolutely love you forever. Okay guys, well, thanks again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this is a useful review to somebody if you are looking at this case. And other than that, well, thanks for watching. Keep hustling, guys.